When it comes to consistency, let me tell you something the way Steve Harvey would say it. Consistency is how a man spells respect. Anybody can show up once. Anybody can impress you on the first date. Anybody can send you a good morning, beautiful text when they feel lonely or bored. But a man who truly knows your worth, he shows up the same way on Monday that he did on Friday. He doesn't shift with his mood. He doesn't disappear when things get a little inconvenient. He doesn't go silent just because life got busy. See, when a man recognizes value, he understands that value requires stability. If he believes you are rare, he treats you like something that requires steady care. Think about it. If somebody buys a luxury car, they don't drive it recklessly. They maintain it. They service it. They protect it from damage. Why? Because they understand what it's worth. The same thing applies in relationships. When a man knows your worth, he doesn't handle you carelessly. His consistency becomes a reflection of how serious he is about keeping you. A consistency means you don't have to guess. You don't have to wonder if today is the day he's going to act different. You don't have to prepare yourself emotionally for hot and cold behavior. He's not affectionate today and distant tomorrow. He's not planning a future one week and acting single the next. His words and his actions line up repeatedly, not occasionally, not when it's convenient, repeatedly. A lot of women mistake intensity for consistency. Let me help you right now. They are not the same thing. Intensity is fast. Intensity is big promises after 2 weeks. Intensity is I've never felt this way before after 3 dates. But consistency is steady effort over time. It's the daily check-ins. It's the follow-through. It's him doing what he said he would do even when nobody is watching and even when it's not glamorous. When a man knows your worth, he understands that trust is built in patterns, not moments. One grand gesture doesn't build security. A pattern does. Showing up on time, calling when he says he will, keeping commitments, remembering the things that matter to you. That pattern creates emotional safety. And emotional safety is one of the greatest gifts a man can give a woman. Let's talk about emotional stability for a second. A consistent man regulates himself. He doesn't punish you with silence. He doesn't withdraw affection to gain control. He doesn't make you earn basic decency. His consistency tells you that you're not fighting for a position in his life. You already have one. And here's something important. When a man values you, he understands that inconsistency creates anxiety. A man who truly sees your worth doesn't want you anxious. He doesn't want you confused. He doesn't want you questioning where you stand. Because confusion benefits only the person who wants options. Clarity benefits the person who wants commitment. Consistency also shows maturity. Boys chase excitement. Men build stability. When he knows you're valuable, he stops chasing thrill and starts building foundation. He thinks long term. He asks himself, can I sustain this? Because he's not trying to impress you for a weekend. He's trying to secure you for a lifetime. And let's be honest, consistency requires effort. It requires discipline. It requires intentionality. That's why not every man can offer it. It's easy to be charming once. It's hard to be reliable every day. But when a man recognizes that you are not average, he rises to meet the standard. He doesn't complain about your expectations. He aligns with them. Now, I'm going to say something that might hit a little deep. If he's inconsistent, it's not because he's confused about you. It's because he's unsure about his level of investment. People are consistent with what they truly care about. He's consistent with his job because he values his paycheck. He's consistent with his hobbies because he enjoys them. If he's inconsistent with you, you have to ask yourself whether he truly recognizes what he has. A man who knows your worth doesn't risk losing you over laziness. He doesn't gamble your patience. He understands that other men exist. And if he's smart, he knows consistency is what separates him from the rest. He knows that drama may be entertaining, but stability is what keeps a relationship alive. Consistency also shows emotional leadership. When he's steady, you relax, you soften, you feel secure. And when a woman feels secure, she flourishes. She gives more. She trusts deeper. She supports stronger. That's the power of consistent effort. It creates an environment where love can actually grow. But here's the part nobody talks about. Consistency isn't perfection. It's reliability. He might make mistakes. He might have bad days. But even on those days, he communicates. He doesn't vanish. He doesn't make you question the entire relationship because of one disagreement. His consistency carries through conflict too. He stays. He works through it. He doesn't threaten to leave every time things get uncomfortable. When a man knows your worth, he doesn't treat access to you casually. He respects your time. He understands that every moment you spend waiting on him is a moment you could be spending elsewhere. So he doesn't keep you waiting. He doesn't leave you on read for days while posting online. His actions match his priorities. And the most powerful part of consistency, it allows you to breathe. Love shouldn't feel like a guessing game. It shouldn't feel like you're constantly trying to secure your position. When he knows your worth, his steady presence answers questions before you even have to ask them. If you find yourself constantly confused, constantly adjusting, constantly excusing behavior, that's inconsistency talking. But when a man truly recognizes your value, he removes the chaos. He replaces uncertainty with assurance. He replaces doubt with dependability. Consistency is quiet but powerful. It's not flashy. It's not dramatic. But it's the clearest sign that he sees what he has. And when a man sees your work clearly, he doesn't play with it. He protects it with steady, unwavering action every single day. When a man truly knows your worth, protection becomes natural to him. And I'm not just talking about standing in front of you if something goes down. I'm talking about the kind of protection that shows up in the way he speaks to you, the way he speaks about you, and the way he allows the world to interact with you. That kind of protection is deeper. That kind of protection is intentional. And that kind of protection only comes when a man understands the value of what he has. You see, a lot of people misunderstand what protection really means. Some think it's about control. Some think it's about jealousy. Some think it's about dominance. But when a man genuinely values you, protection is not about limiting you. It's about covering you. It's about making sure you feel safe in his presence, not restricted by it. A man who knows your worth does not try to shrink you. He makes sure nothing around you diminishes you. Emotionally, protection is powerful. It means he is careful with your heart. He doesn't joke about sensitive things you share. He doesn't weaponize your vulnerability during arguments. If you told him about past pain, he doesn't use it as ammunition later. That right there tells you everything. Because when a man knows your worth, he understands that your trust is sacred, and sacred things are handled with care. He doesn't embarrass you publicly. That's a big one. A man who truly values you will never try to score points at your expense. He doesn't make fun of you in front of friends to look cool. He doesn't flirt with other women in your presence to test your reaction. He doesn't downplay your importance when people ask about you. Protection means he guards your dignity like it's his own. And let me say something clearly, because this part matters. A man who knows your worth pays attention to your emotional triggers, not to manipulate them, but to avoid harming them. If he knows certain situations make you uncomfortable, he doesn't force you into them just to prove a point. If he knows certain words hurt you, he removes them from his vocabulary. That's not weakness. That's emotional intelligence. That's maturity. Protection also shows up in how he handles other people. If someone disrespects you, he doesn't laugh it off. He addresses it calmly, firmly, confidently, not with drama, but with authority. He makes it clear that disrespect towards you is unacceptable, not because you asked him to fight your battles, but because he naturally feels responsible for maintaining a safe space around you. Now, here's something deep when a man knows your worth. He protects your reputation even when you're not around. That means in rooms you never enter, your name is still safe. He shuts down inappropriate conversations. He corrects misinformation. He speaks highly of you. That kind of protection builds trust on a whole different level because it means his loyalty doesn't depend on your presence. Physically, protection means you feel secure. You feel comfortable walking beside him. You feel at ease knowing he's attentive to your surroundings. It's subtle. It's the way he positions himself when you're in crowded places. It's the way he checks to make sure you got home safely. It's the way he pays attention to details that affect your safety. Not because you're incapable, but because he values your well-being. But protection isn't just external. It's internal too. A man who knows your worth protects the relationship from unnecessary threats. He doesn't entertain emotional connections with other women. He doesn't keep backup options. He doesn't flirt for ego boosts. He understands that protecting you means protecting the bond itself. He doesn't put himself in situations that could compromise what you have. Let's talk about emotional steadiness. A protective man doesn't create chaos in your life. He doesn't bring drama from outside into your relationship. He filters negativity. He absorbs pressure without passing it on to you unnecessarily. When he's stressed, he communicates. He doesn't explode. He doesn't shut down completely because he understands that emotional volatility can damage what he values. Protection also means he respects your boundaries. If you say something makes you uncomfortable, he listens. He doesn't mock it. He doesn't minimize it. He doesn't tell you that you're overreacting. He adjusts. That adjustment is a sign of value recognition because if he sees you as important, your comfort becomes important. Here's the truth: men protect what they treasure. You don't see someone careless with something they truly prize. When a man sees you as rare, he acts accordingly. He doesn't risk you for temporary excitement. He doesn't gamble your security for short-term validation. His protective instincts align with his commitment. And understand this clearly. Protection is not possessiveness. Possessiveness is insecurity. Protection is assurance. One tries to control you. The other tries to secure you. When a man knows your worth, he trusts you. He's not constantly accusing you or monitoring you. His protection isn't fueled by fear of losing you. It's fueled by pride in having you. A protective man also shields you from his own worst impulses. That's maturity. He checks himself. If he knows he has a temper, he works on it. If he knows certain behaviors could hurt you, he disciplines himself because he understands that protecting you sometimes means protecting you from himself. When you're with a man who truly knows your worth, you feel calm, not tense, not anxious, not constantly defending your place in his life. You feel covered. You feel prioritized. You feel respected. That feeling doesn't come from grand speeches. It comes from daily actions. And here's the powerful part: you don't have to beg for protection. You don't have to demand it. You don't have to remind him to defend you. It flows naturally from his recognition of your value. If you find yourself constantly fighting for basic respect, that's not protection. That's imbalance. A man who knows your worth stands between you and harm emotionally, socially, and physically. Not because you're weak, but because he understands that strength and protection can coexist. He honors your independence while still making sure you feel secure. When a man truly knows your worth, he invests in you. And I'm not just talking about opening his wallet. I'm talking about opening his schedule, his focus, his effort, his planning, and his emotional energy. Investment is the clearest evidence of intention. People invest in what they believe will grow. They invest in what they see long-term value in. And when a man sees your worth clearly, he doesn't hesitate to pour into you. Let's be real. Anybody can spend money one night. Anybody can buy dinner. That's easy. But consistent investment, that takes purpose. That takes vision. That takes a man who isn't just thinking about the moment, but about the future. A man who knows your worth doesn't see you as temporary entertainment. He sees you as something worth building with. Investment starts with time. Time is the one thing nobody gets back. When a man prioritizes you in his schedule, that's not accidental. That's intentional. He rearranges things to see you. He makes space for you. He doesn't give you leftover minutes after he's done with everything else. He gives you dedicated attention because when he values you, being with you is not an obligation, it's a priority. And here's something important. Attention is a form of currency. In a world full of distractions, where phones are constantly buzzing and social media is pulling people in every direction, a man who knows your work puts the phone down and looks at you when you speak. He listens, not halfway, not while scrolling, fully. That kind of focus is rare, and rarity always signals value. Investment also shows an effort. He plans dates instead of always asking, what do you want to do? He thinks ahead. He remembers that restaurant you mentioned 3 weeks ago. He notices when you're stressed and asks how he can help. He pays attention to details. Effort is love in action. It's proof that he's not just coasting, he's contributing. When a man recognizes your worth, he invests emotionally too. He opens up. He shares his thoughts. He lets you see beyond the surface. Now listen carefully, men don't open up deeply with just anyone. Emotional vulnerability is expensive for a man. If he's investing that with you, it's because he sees you as safe and significant. He's not just passing time. He's building connection. Investment also means growth. A man who values you wants to become better, not because you're forcing him, because you're criticizing him, but because he understands that if you are high value, he must rise to meet that level. He improves his communication. He works on his discipline. He sharpens his ambition. He doesn't want to lose you because he stayed stagnant. And let's talk about financial investment for a moment, because we can't ignore it. When a man knows your worth, generosity feels natural. He doesn't keep score. He doesn't complain about spending on you. He doesn't act like basic generosity is a burden. Now, that doesn't mean reckless spending. It means willingness. It means he's comfortable pouring resources into experiences and stability with you because he sees you as part of his life, not an outsider. But investment is deeper than gifts and dinners. It's about building something tangible together. He talks about plans. He includes you in future decisions. He considers your opinion before making major moves. That's long-term thinking. That's partnership energy. That's what happens when a man understands that your presence adds value to his life. A man who doesn't see your worth will give you convenience. A man who does see your worth will give you commitment. Convenience is easy. It's seeing you when it fits. It's texting when bored. It's showing up when lonely. Commitment requires structure. It requires consistency. It requires investment. And here's the part that most people miss. Investment requires sacrifice. If he's truly investing in you, something else is. Being reduced. Maybe it's less time with certain friends. Maybe it's fewer nights out. Maybe it's restructured priorities. You can't invest heavily in something without pulling resources from somewhere else. If his life hasn't adjusted at all, the investment probably isn't deep. When a man values you, he also invests in protecting the relationship from damage. He avoids situations that threaten it. He communicates when there's tension. He fixes problems instead of ignoring them. Repair is a form of investment. Anybody can walk away when things get uncomfortable. It takes investment to stay and work through it. Investment is also consistency in small things. It's remembering important dates. It's checking in before big meetings. It's noticing when your mood shifts. These details might seem minor, but they add up. They show attentiveness. And attentiveness comes from care. Let's be honest for a moment. If you feel like you're the only one trying, that's not investment, that's imbalance. If you're always initiating, always planning, always fixing, always adjusting, then the scales are off. A man who knows your worth meets you halfway and often goes beyond halfway because he understands that keeping something valuable requires active participation. Investment also means he defends the connection when it's challenged. If misunderstandings happen, he doesn't let pride destroy progress. He chooses resolution over ego. That choice alone shows maturity and seriousness. And here's something powerful. When a man invests in you properly, you feel secure enough to invest back. Effort inspires effort. Care inspires care. Growth inspires growth. That mutual investment creates momentum. That momentum builds something solid. A man who doesn't recognize your worth will hesitate to invest deeply because he's unsure if you're permanent. A man who does recognize your worth invests boldly because he doesn't want to risk losing what he sees as rare. So watch where he places his time. Watch where he puts his energy. Watch what he sacrifices. Watch how he plans. Those are the real indicators. Words are easy. Investment costs something. When he knows your worth, he doesn't just admire you. He builds with you. He doesn't just enjoy your presence. He secures your position. He doesn't just talk about potential. He funds it with effort, focus, and commitment. When a man truly knows your worth, he claims you. Not halfway, not privately, not when it's convenient. He claims you openly, confidently, and without hesitation. And let me explain something. Claiming you is not about ownership. It's about acknowledgement. It's about recognition. It's about saying to the world, I see her value and I'm proud to stand beside her. A man who understands your worth does not keep you hidden. You're not a secret. You're not someone I'm talking to. You're not a blurred line in his life. He defines the relationship because he doesn't want confusion around something he values. When a man sees your work clearly, clarity becomes important to him. See, men protect what they're proud of. And pride isn't arrogance, it's appreciation. If he's proud to be with you, he introduces you properly. He doesn't hesitate when someone asks who you are. He doesn't stumble over labels. He doesn't downgrade your position to make other people comfortable. He speaks your name with confidence. When he knows your worth, his language changes. He says we naturally. He includes you in stories about his future. He references you when he talks about plans. That subtle shift from me to we tells you everything about how he views your role in his life. You're not temporary. You're integrated. Now let's talk about public acknowledgement in a deeper way. It's not just social media posts, although sometimes that matters too. It's about consistency between private and public behavior. If he treats you like royalty in private but acts distant in public, that's a red flag. A man who knows your worth doesn't compartmentalize you. He doesn't adjust your importance based on who's watching. And listen carefully, when a man values you, he doesn't entertain situations that make your position unclear. He shuts down flirtation from others. He doesn't allow gray areas to exist around your relationship. He sets boundaries not because he's forced to, but because he doesn't want anything to threaten what he has. Claiming you also means defending your place. If someone questions your importance, he corrects them. If someone disrespects you, he addresses it. He doesn't laugh it off to avoid awkwardness. He doesn't let jokes slide that diminish you. He draws lines calmly, firmly, confidently. A man who knows your worth doesn't delay definition. He doesn't drag you through months of uncertainty. He doesn't keep saying, let's see where this goes, while benefiting from everything a committed relationship provides. When he sees value, he moves with intention. He locks in because he understands that leaving something undefined leaves room for loss. Here's the truth: hesitation often reveals doubt. If he's constantly avoiding labels, avoiding clarity, avoiding public acknowledgement, he may not fully recognize your worth. Or worse, he recognizes it but doesn't believe he needs to secure it. A man who truly understands what he has doesn't gamble with it. Claiming you also shows emotional maturity. It means he's not afraid of responsibility. It means he's not afraid of commitment. It means he's secure enough in himself to stand beside a strong woman without feeling threatened. Weak men hide strong women. Secure men honor them. And this part is important. When he knows your worth, he doesn't just claim you during good times. He stands beside you during challenges too. He doesn't distance himself when things get complicated. He doesn't pretend not to know you when pressure shows up. He stays visible. He stays supportive. He stays aligned. Let's talk about consistency in claiming you. It's not one big announcement followed by inconsistent behavior. It's daily reinforcement. It's introducing you to friends and family without hesitation. It's including you in important moments. It's showing through action that you have a secure place in his world. A man who truly values you wants other people to know he's with someone special. Not to show off, but because he appreciates what he has. Appreciation naturally expresses itself. He doesn't minimize you to protect his ego. He doesn't dim your light so he can shine brighter. He elevates you because your shine reflects well on him. Now, claiming you also means emotional exclusivity. He doesn't keep emotional doors open elsewhere. He doesn't maintain just in case connections. He doesn't blur boundaries with exes or friends who clearly want more. He makes it clear through action that his focus is you. When a man knows your worth, he removes doubt. Not because you demand it, but because he understands that clarity builds security. He doesn't want you wondering where you stand. He doesn't want you feeling uncertain about your position. He provides reassurance through consistency. And here's something powerful: when you feel claimed, you feel safe. Not controlled, not owned, safe. There's a difference. Safety allows you to relax into the relationship. It allows you to give love freely without guarding yourself constantly. If you ever feel hidden, minimized, or undefined, pay attention to that feeling. Because when a man truly recognizes your value, hiding you feels like losing you. And he's not willing to take that risk.